All right, let's bring in Yossi Mekelberg. He's a senior consulting fellow with the Middle East and North Africa program at Chatham House. Yossi, welcome back. So we heard from the Russian foreign minister. He was one of the first things he said. There's a need for dialogue between the two sides. Is that likely to happen, do you think?
I don't think it is. When the tide turned against the Assad regime, the momentum is now with the rebels. And I don't think they are now open dialogue. There's been enough time for the last 13 years for dialogue, and it didn't seem that Russia encouraged dialogue there. Contrary, it was supported the Assad regime, and bear in mind, some would argue that there were 500,000 people killed over the last 13 years in the hands of Assad and with the help of Russia and Iran. As long as the momentum with the rebels, I don't think they're open. Maybe there was going to be a dialogue when they think that they can, after the ceasefire, if they do.
Right. Our diplomatic editor, James Bays, also asked the Russian foreign minister what they might do next, Russia, in terms of, militarily. Clearly, he wouldn't be drawn on that. It's not something he was going to talk about. He didn't want to forecast it, but perhaps we can surmise what the possibilities are. I mean, I know it's all speculation, but what are Russia's capabilities and what might they do at this point, given how stretched they are with the effort in Ukraine?
At least for now, to me, it looks like they are giving up gradually on the Assad regime and Assad himself, because they had opportunity over the last week. Maybe they were surprised and they reconsider what to do next. And I'm not surprised that Foreign Minister Lavrov won't give us details about what they are going to do next. But we know that when Russia wanted to support with Air Force and other, with military support, they did it in the past, quite viciously. So are they going to do it now? Or I think they look already beyond Assad. And
beyond Assad?
Sorry?
Beyond Assad. But what does it mean for their military bases then?
And that's what they probably... If they open dialogue, it might be dialogue with other factions within Syria or within the regime itself beyond Assad to guarantee their access to the Mediterranean, Latakia, Tartus, because the Air Force, because this is what's important to them. They invested in the Assad regime because it guaranteed their interest in Syria. If they see this is a lost cause, I don't think there will be many sentiments toward Assad himself. They might offer him an asylum, but not beyond it.
Right. So many players involved in this, of course, not least Israel, who will be keeping a very close eye on what's going on the other side of the Syrian territory that they occupy. And specifically, we've seen, as we were talking about just moments ago, as I just announced, the taking of Quneitra by opposition forces, and that would be something that would be of concern to Israel.
Yeah, do watch it carefully. Bear in mind, Israel, just signed a ceasefire agreement in Lebanon with Hezbollah, still is engaged quite intensively in Gaza. Everyone is at least suggesting the possibility of Iran retaliating to Israel attack a few weeks ago in Iran. I don't think Israel is interested in another front in Syria, especially one that is involved intervening in a civil war of sorts. But they will look with great concern as the rebels coming closer to the border, the occupied Golan Heights. And as long as there is cross-border attacks on the Golan Heights, they will wait patiently. If it happens, then they will signal probably through airstrikes and other operation inside Syria.
Right. So of course, Israel has been sending military forces to the Golan Heights, and the Golan Heights is very close to Damascus, isn't it? To Syria's capital, 60, 70 kilometers away. And Israel has said it's watching the scenarios very carefully. But what are the scenarios that would be of most concern to Israel?
Yeah, and they will look, because Israel was surprised as anyone else by the rapid developments in Syria. As far as Israel is concerned, they would like to guarantee, again, there is no cross-border fires, no operation, and I don't think actually the rebels at this point are interested to open a front with Israel. Their main concern is to expand and to reach Damascus, then they take power. In the long term, that's a big question for Israel. Who is taking over in Syria if this actually happens, and what the kind of relations between Israel and Syria post-Assad. Bear in mind, Israel has more than 50 years relation with an Assad family in Syria, and since 1974, a relatively quiet border there. They would like to keep it like that.
Interesting. Great to have you with us, Yossi. Thanks for joining us here on set in Doha. Yossi Mekelberg. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.